which is that subjective and objective violence cannot be perceived from the same standpoint. Subjective violence is experienced as such against the background of a non-violent zero level. It is seen as a perturbation of the normal, peaceful state of things. However, objective violence is precisely the violence inherent to this normal state of things. Objective violence is invisible since it sustains the very zero-level standard against which we perceive something as subjectively violent. Systemic violence is thus something like the notorious dark matter of physics, the counterpart to an all-too-visible subjective violence. It may be invisible, but it has to be taken into account if one is to make sense of what otherwise seem to be irrational explosions of subjective violence. That's the crux of what we're getting at there, which is that you can't, or at least Žižek contends, that you can't adequately perceive and pay attention to subjective and objective violence simultaneously. When we are fascinated by the lure of subjective violence, when we're sitting there watching the 400th carbon copy of cocaine kingpin Pablo Escobar on our screen, when we're watching this larger-than-life explosive subjective violence, the last thing we're seeing or thinking about is us and the effect that our desire for that subjective violence which we are consuming, the effect that it actually has. Our own objective violence is obfuscated by the explosive reality of subjective violence. The issues, the symptoms, the problems lie within all of us. They certainly can't be, although they so often are, localized in individual figures and scapegoats.